Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Soccer for Us. And this is the episode we are talking all about the U.S. women winning their 5th gold medal. Winning a gold medal that not surprising with the talent on the field, but a little surprising in the timeline of a new coach, in the thought that, U.S. soccer, women's soccer in the U.S. was just in a terrible place and was never going to recover. But at the end of the day, we come out, we go to France, we win and take back home our 5th gold medal. And to talk about that with me are two people who have been plugged in, not just to the U.S. women's national team, but also NWSL for the longest time, and who are ready to gloat. It is Atlanta's son. Well, not really Atlanta's son. Atlanta's adopted son. It's Greg, a.k.a. Grego from For the Culture.
What's up? What's up? I got 5 on it.
Yes. Yes. And that is kind of the theme of this is like, y'all didn't think this was going to happen. And here we are. And we're just going to talk our shit. Also joining us all the way from Raleigh, North Carolina is Eboni, making her return to the podcast.
Hello. How do you say hose mad in French? How do you say hose mad in Cockney?
It's mad. It's mad.
Swedish. That's the other language I think we need to learn how to translate it to. Spanish too.
Which I think
in Ohio.
Yes. Hose and Ohio. Y'all, let's just from the start though. I want to know, Eboni, like, what was your thought after that whistle blew and it was over and we're a gold medalist for the 5th time?
My immediate thought was put Trinity on ice. She's been playing too many goddamn minutes. But then it was relief. It was joy. It was, I don't want to say shocked because I always bet on my teams 10 toes down. But perplexing that they came in with this type of time period and all of these things stacked against them, and they still did the thing, and they got another medal for it. So I was gonna be happy to get to a semis, like that group stage looked tough, and I thought we were gonna. And I was like, "Ooh, Zambia they kind of got the best forward in the world right now." I'm just happy we here. We got invited to the dance. The pretty girl asked us out. Like, I was happy. But then we woke up the next morning in her room and I was like, damn, we did it.
Greg, as someone who has surely had that feeling before.
Yes.
Was it happy? Was it relieved? I mean, what did you think about it when you're like, man, we just won our 5th gold medal?
Definitely, really, because I feel like there was a slight bit of conflict, just because you got to keep in mind that we were playing Brazil in the gold medal match, which, for all intents and purposes, is going to be the final international match for Marta. And given how,
hold on, don't say that. She's coming back in 2027. That World Cup is in her home.
I don't know.
She'll be there. Will she be playing is the question. But hey,
she's got it in her.
It never say never. I'll never say never. I'll say that. But I will say that, given at least the idea that this could be your last match, it was like, and especially how Brazil beat up on Spain in the semifinal, I was like, this could be tough if they're able to ride that momentum. And luckily, I mean, they played us tough, but I mean, I think the running theme, especially in the knockout matches, like, we just keep on finding a way. And I think that's a tribute to the players that Emma trusted with the team, save for 2 in particular. We'll get to that, I'm sure. And then also, like, we got some badasses up front. And I feel like, especially with Trinity, like a couple years ago, back when she first broke out with Washington, then later on with the national team, it was just like all speed and the ability was coming through. Now it's like if she
Mm-hmm.
ever figures out how to finish, it's gonna be scary season. And I think that this tournament here put everyone on notice that she can score now. And you put her along with Mal, along with Sophia. Not to mention, you still got Fish that's healing up. We're gonna figure out how to utilize Jaden. I'm sure in due time. You still got Kat to worry about. I'm like, my
Lily.
God, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that comes in.
This like
Yeah.
it's
Croy.
stanking rich right now. It's stanking
Croy.
rich.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hal. Like, she did not get her chance, and I was so pissed.
I mean, like Corey got like a couple touches. And I was like, man, like just like I said,
She came on the field.
especially given, like I said, I'm never going to get on the midfield a little bit. I'm like, we clearly have some opportunities coming up very soon, and I hope that Emma gives those opportunities to Croy and Kat very, very soon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you both bring up just good points and the overall reaction of like the timeline. We were just kind of like, you know what? Let's go out there. Let's try to look like we know how to play soccer again, because that was the problem last summer.
Mhm.
And if you get a medal, fantastic. If you don't, just give me something to build on. And the fact that we have a gold medal and things to build on, that is like the best about, because it was very clear throughout the tournament that there were things that we need to do better. Even our attackers, maybe score one or more of the times that you get, a chance to get in front of goal, a little bit more efficiency. Defensively, maybe don't be, Swiss cheese in the midfield. But like there are things you can still improve on, and yet we come home with the gold medal. And like that to me was watching this team going, they're winning. And even in the group stage when they were, we got to shout out Barbara Banda, but she didn't have nothing on Naomi Girma. And
nobody did.
Right. That
but she still got her goals
smart.
for other two games. Like that's the thing, is like defensively, this team was so good on the back line. Like shout out Emily Fox, shout out Tara Davidson and Emily Sonnet for still stepping up and doing their job. Shout out Crystal Dunn on that left side, even though she was basically also like a wing back. Like the defensive work those players put in. And then Alyssa Nair, who's back there saving everything. I mean, this was, to me, such a relief because I will say, under the Vlatko regime, defensively, still pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never thought our defense was ever the problem for any team.
Yes.
It
but
always came to, like when you have a Naomi Girma behind, like in front of you for Nair, and then for Girma, when you have someone like Nair behind you, I don't think the defense was ever going to be a problem. Our problems has always come from midfield and forward position and figuring out the correct combination. I don't think Vlatko ever figured that out. I don't think Emma has figured that out yet, because I don't think she put the best lineup together in the midfield. For some reason, we're still struggling to figure out that Haran and Rose can't play together on the field. And I don't know how 99% of America has figured out, except for the one person making the starting 11. But that's a thing. Coffee should be, after Naomi Girma, Coffee should be your second person you're writing in, and then Trinity, Sophia, and Mal. Figure the rest out. But it didn't matter at times, because at that point the triple espresso was playing so well that either one was scoring or one was assisting. So I definitely feel you with that. Like, it is night and day, but there's still some things that we need to work out. And the fact that we came away with a medal and hope for the future, I was just hoping to come away with a better understanding of our future.
Yeah.
Especially if Kat was going to play.
Man. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I definitely agree with you, Ebony. Like the backline was never this because even before Girma really, made her stand with the backline, you still had Becky.
Yeah,
So it's like you really had like it's just like almost a seamless transition and now in a lot of ways even an upgrade because I feel like whoever blessed us with having Naomi Girma on our back line and starting for our national team, I want to thank you. I want to kiss you. I want to see if we can make even more.
Just drop the Addy. I'll send an edible arrangement. Like
I'm saying, I am saying,
whatever you need.
Literally, we will give you flowers. We will give you fruits, candies. What
I
is
will
it?
spoil you. I will
Yes.
spoil you. But no, I think that like going back from like Flacco's term, it's like the issue was always the midfield was just disjointed, and you were still trying to serve the greater good of Alex Morgan, and to a lesser extent, probably Rapinoe as well, because I feel like you're trying to hang on to hope that hey, we still got a little bit left out of that 2011, 2015 generation. Like, hey, let's go ahead and just get a little bit more, and then I think that especially with the first decision of dropping Morgan from the squad, I'm like, you do realize like in most cases she really has never really had a great tournament. She's never been a great tournament player like at all. Like I think like the only one she really had was like maybe.
I mean, honestly, 2012.
Yeah.
I was about to say 2012 was probably her best one.
Yeah. Like 2012 was probably her best.
Yeah,
2011 was her breakout. 2012 was her peak for tournaments.
Yeah. And I mean, like ever since then, it's like you keep on riding, hoping that she's going to have this big old breakout, and it just never comes. And now you have an opportunity where one, she's getting a little bit older. Two, she's coming off the World Cup where she really didn't do much of shit. And three, you have all this talent just waiting for you to say, "Hey, I'm here. Come love me. Come love me. It's all here waiting for you." And especially once I think when Mal got healthy again, it was like, and you start seeing her getting worked in early to show. It's like we got at least a little something to look forward to. I think that we have fewer questions now with the attack. Obviously, the back line was always holding it down. It's just that midfield we still have to kind of figure out. And yeah, like the whole dynamic. It's not just Rose and Horan. It's just Horan, period. And I feel like
I have a hot take about Horan, but I'm gonna let you finish.
Honestly, like the way that she was playing most of this game, most of this turn, I was like, one, why is she starting? And two, and it was funny given what Emma said in like the post game after the gold medal game. I was like, there must be something that we're not seeing that like that happens on the training pitch, because I'm like, there's no way she's our leader. None.
I'll hold mine. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, I'm interested to hear it, honestly, Ebony, because like I think Horan was the controversial figure throughout the tournament.
Correct. That is true.
Yeah.
I think that when Horan first came on the scene, she was what we needed. There was that balance to have someone behind Mewis that, and her skills were really good for that moment. And I think because they've been holding on to, like you said, trying to get that last little bit of sentimental whatever from 2015, 2019, they've overused her. And so now her skills are predictable. And when it becomes predictable, it becomes boring and unnecessary. I think we did Horan a disservice, and now we're seeing we're at the find out portion of the fuck around, because now it's what is she bringing that we don't see anymore from a younger talent that can do maybe one or two things a little bit quicker than her now.
Well, let's say this. Lily Johannes is probably, to me, that heir apparent of being able to progress the ball on the
Yes.
dribble
Yeah.
and passing, because I think that's what Lindsay does so much better than anyone out there. I mean, she can hold off a defender, she can dribble the ball forward, she can pass the ball forward. She is a ball progressor. That's what she's very good at.
That's what she was good at.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
are her skill set. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
Yes, that's fair.
Lily, to me, is the heir apparent. But I will
Yes.
also say that when we were struggling even throughout a lot of the doldrums of the Twyla Kilgore time, it was very clear to me that the Coffee Horan Shaw midfield was the way forward, because Horan and Coffee next to each other could pick up on each other's inability to be, like, they're not super mobile, but they're smart. Like, the one thing you can't say about those two girls is they're dumb. Like, they are intelligent soccer players. And Horan being able to just hold off a defender or turn and find Jaden or another attacker was what won us several games in not only She Believes, but also at the W Gold Cup and others. And that, to me, I think was where Rose doesn't give us that dynamic quality that Jaden or a Cat would have, or even, maybe Croy when she finally gets in there. And I think that's the other thing, is that balance. It's not necessarily just Horan, although I will stick up for Horan. I like her. She's a great player. She has great skills. But it's that balance of having, because Corbin's also not it. Like, that's the thing.
Her beliefs aside,
tournament.
Her beliefs aside, she has not proven to me her skill set, but also
actual soccer skills are the question.
they're like her soccer skills.
Minus the one thing she does well, which is hit a shot from the top of the box, which again
I'm still trying to figure out. But to play the devil's advocate, Horan just needs some rest. She's been
tournament for rest.
Like, she's been that person for so long that she goes from national team to where she played PSG.
She's at
Lyon.
Yeah. But some French team I don't watch. She goes from PSG or Lyon to national team to Lyon to camp to a game. Like, she hasn't rested since 2019. Girl, go take a vacation. Go rest for 6 months. Stop playing soccer.
She's trying to, get her laps in like her mentor.
Look, man, I cannot. I need her to take a break.
Your ass down.
Well, hey, FIFA is giving the women a break in September, not the men.
Mm-hmm.
The women, which I'm not going to complain too much about, because they should.
I mean,
it's a little unequal, but I'm like, no, but this was the right decision.
I'll say this real quick about Horan. I feel like ever since you had that transition ever since the transition of power, so to speak, after 2019, well, actually more so like after 2021, when she was made captain and she got the number 10 jersey, and suddenly you had the focus. It went from she's a compliment to the 11 to now she's a focus.
Yes, and
I feel like since she's had to be the focus, that's when it's become like, okay, the pressure's on you now, especially since now that you have the 10, now that you're captain, we're looking to you. And I feel like you've had now 2 straight tournaments where it's been like, yeah, I don't know if that role is right for you. Like, maybe like if the focus wasn't directly on you, maybe we look a little different. And it's like I honestly, it's to the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna say drop her entirely, but I would definitely say her spot's in definite jeopardy.
I think, not to look forward too much, but you do have to look at 2027 and go, okay, Rose and Lindsay are both at that same age where it's like, you're not getting faster, Rose gets hurt, I feel like, every other week, unfortunately.
Right.
And Lindsay is playing with a taped up knee, literally. I feel like the K-tape is the only thing holding that knee together sometimes. And that's the question, is how long can you actually ride them as not just players on the team, but starters? but the thing about that is, well, we have talent. So
Right.
unlike, I feel like, I will say this, that unlike past iterations of the national team and coaches who came in, I am confident that Emma Hayes will hold a standard and expect players to be able to meet that standard. And if they're not,
God,
they will not be at least starting.
Yeah, I think that what we like the era that we're about to go in now, especially now that we're done with the Olympics, and now you have the next 3 years to prep for 2027 and beyond. I think that we are going to be getting out of this mindset that like anyone that's like I would say 33 and up, like those days of playing until like you're 37, 38, 39, those days are about to be over real soon. And I feel like
that.
Yeah. And I feel like there's going to be some tough conversations coming pretty soon as far as just where certain players, where their future is with the national team. And it's going to be a lot of hurt feelings because, like I said, we've had this because we've been known to hang on to players for so long. And the fact is that we got a lot of players now that are in, their early to mid 20s. That was like, hey, we can contribute now. And it's like, do we go back to what we know and just keep on trying to get every last drop, or do we say, hey, let's put you over here to the side. If we need you, we'll hit you up. But otherwise, let's use these next 3 years to be like, hey, let's start building with Trinity, with Sophia, with Mal, with Naomi. Let's figure out even with Unk. I'd be like, hey, we may not use you quite as often. I know that she'll probably still be there for 2027, but I feel like, just in case, something does happen, we have alternatives available, and I think that we'll be better for it, and I think that just given the standard of the national team, it won't be a case of like where, those players who we move on from, in the event we do need them, they'll more than likely still be ready. So it's not like it'll be a case of like where like oh shit, like we got nothing, like who can we fall back on? I feel like there'll be at least a few that we should like, hey, just stay hungry. We just might need you, but otherwise we're going to try to roll with these youngins and see what they can do.
Well, look, Haran's 30, Lavelle's 29, Crystal Dunn 32. They're in that group, and look, Crystal, great tournament, but they're in that group of like, we need, there's younger, hungrier. Well, there's younger, maybe not hungrier, but just as hungry players behind you, and you've got to either step your game up or you're going to get passed. But at the same time, Greg, having those three specifically as like the standard that you have to surpass says a lot about why the thing that I've always felt about this national team is we didn't lose in 2023 because we weren't talented.
Correct.
There, and I'm not going to put it all on Vlatko. A lot of it goes to Vlatko's fault. I think there were other things, a lot of it, but he got a lot of things wrong. And then he goes back to Kansas City and they start winning again. He's clearly a decent coach. He just got it wrong for the
He just sticks to the rivers and the lakes that he's used to.
Absolutely. No, seriously, that's what it felt like. Because what we're seeing is that it takes a different type of coaching mentality to not just coach on the international level, but coach the U.S. women's national team.
Right.
Emma's got that mentality.
Yeah, I feel like she's like, for the job that she did at Chelsea, I feel like she was exposed to an environment that, that plus her previous experience in NWSL, she was prepared for this moment and coaching the national team. I feel like, she like, and you saw like in the behind the scenes videos. I mean, just like the way that she was able to relate to players and talk to them at a level where they feel comfortable going to her. where I feel as though if I had to bet money, they probably didn't have the same type of rapport with Vlatko. And
which they liked Vlatko. I think that needs to be said. They liked
Yeah.
playing for him, but I
Yeah.
agree with you. It wasn't the same level of, it's not respect, but it's reverence, maybe is
Yeah.
the word.
Yeah. And I think that, yeah, I feel like the energy with the national team, like these past few months, even like going back to She Believes, I feel like it was just a matter of having the right voice coming at the right time. And I'm not shocked whatsoever that Emma was able to tap in and really just make the right moves that really need to be made. Like I said, I think that this wasn't perfect, but I do feel like this was something where, for how you want to kick off this new term, it couldn't have gotten any better.
I do want to bring a contrast to the recently departed men's national team coach and Emma. And I mean this as a way to understand that national teams are different than club teams.
Right.
That the dude who used to coach the men's national team, he was very big on setting goals and expectations for the team heading into not just windows, but tournaments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Emma did a good job of, and I mean this in praise of that guy, because I thought that is a good thing to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Emma did the same, and it a little bit to the detriment of the team overall. They ended up winning, but it seemed very clear that Emma's whole goal of this tournament was to get her 11 the most amount of time playing together as possible.
Oh yeah, because
that was not a fear thing. That was a goal. That wasn't an uncertainty. That was her vision for the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm frustrated and Hope Girl couldn't have made a sub or two, 60th minute, I understand that she said, no, this is what we're doing. She communicated that to the players and said, you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to fight through it together and come out on the other side better team. And that type of communication invites buy-in so much easier.
Yeah. I think that there is definitely a buy-in with Emma, like I said, just given her track record. And
right.
and I think that with the men, what happened was two things. One, I think the power dynamic really got jacked up at some point, especially when you hear about stories of the players committee and them giving the okay to drop certain players, and I was like, that's not good for the health of any team whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Second, I think that as those players get older, and obviously they've gotten better over time, I feel as though the last guy was good for last cycle, and for where that team was at that point.
100%. I actually think he was the best choice for that group at that time.
I wouldn't go that far, but I feel like he was able to do what was needed at that point.
He was a good choice for that time. Sure. Yes. Not anymore. Second
of course,
cycle.
You move forward to now, and again, like, you had different expectations. Obviously, you wanted to have a good showing in Copa America since it was being held here. And what you quickly realized was that what got you here won't get you there.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as though, like I said, like there are things right now with U.S. soccer that we probably will never know, or at least not know anytime soon. But I always just go back to the process that we had that ended up rehiring the last guy. And I was like, you mean to tell me that you interviewed 10 guys, and you mean to tell me that of those 10, that he was better than all 10?
All 10.
I mean, I can understand maybe 3 or 4. I can understand, 2 or 3 that might be about the same, but you cannot tell me that there weren't at least, I'll say at least 3 or 4 that was like, nah, if they're available, they're definitely better than
Yeah.
the last guy. And yeah, I think
I think he learned. I think that actually was important for him to then learn and go through a coaching hire
Mm-hmm.
and then be able to come back and say, oh, wait. And Crocker talked about this. He understood better what was needed and what was expected. And I think he also understood the gravity of you have to have a women's national team program that is a serial winner, not just contender, winner. And I think he kind of learned a little bit from the rehire process enough to go back and say, no, we need to up this. And I have a better sense of who I want. And I'm going to go get, I mean, granted, you're the women's national team, so the two teams are different, but I think he had a different idea of what it was going to take and knew what he wanted. And he said, I want to go get the best. And that was Emma Hayes.
Yeah, I think that his energy for that hire matched his overall ambition, which is why going back to the old guy really just made absolutely no sense whatsoever.
No.
And I also think that, how can I put it? The story, as the story goes, the players and the leadership or whatever, they wanted to bring him back. And if that was the case, they played like they wanted nothing to do with him. I'm sorry.
They did. And that's the thing. It's like the difference between that and what the women did this summer for Emma. Now, part of that is they're playing for their jobs because she's new and they have to prove themselves. But they played together. They played to win. And they played like they were told by their manager, the best pathway to success is what I'm telling you. And they believed it and they executed it.
There's definitely a belief there. I feel like you can kind of tell, like, actually in those games where they just, like I said, you would think that there would be a sub, but it just never came. It's like, hey, you're gonna figure this out, and and you'll be better for it. And eventually, like I said, by hook or by crook, it absolutely came. and I feel like going forward, it will definitely be a huge learning lesson as far as how they build this team going forward.
Yeah, and look, I think Eboni, as you can talk about the coaching all you want, but as I've said multiple times, the players who played this tournament are phenomenal, are insanely talented, and deserve more praise than Emma. Emma deserves praise. But these players went out there and won a gold medal. And it goes just back to the thing that after the 2023 thing, people were telling me we weren't talented enough. Our players weren't good. We're not developing good players. Our league is terrible. They're not getting enough good quality play because their league is bad. And we just got a gold medal. So which one is it?
I think it's a little bit of haters. Hoes mad. I think that's the answer. I think it's just hoes mad.
Absolutely.
It is. Let's just be real honest. And I think that's where you watch this team fail in 2023, but still, like, I just cannot express this enough. The failure we had that summer was because all of the things that we needed to go right somehow went against us, right? To the point where we were a millimeter from having a penalty kick save and continuing on. Like things like that.
Man.
Despite having a coach who wasn't putting us in the best positions to win, we were still that close to making a quarterfinal of the tournament and possibly farther. And I just never bought the idea that this program, these teams, these players were somehow not good enough. I never bought that, Greg.
No, the talent was always there, like clearly. And I mean, like, you listen to whether it been us on FTC, especially if you listen to Diaspora and Shea Butter, like, like you had shows, people raising red flags, blue flags, purple flags, whatever color that you want to be like, hey, you have something over here. You need to, try to address it so that way, if you actually care to win, you would actually do better. And I feel like obviously that didn't happen in time. And again, sometimes it's like we have, if we learned at the World Cup last year, if we learned at the Olympics this past month, it don't take but that much, between winners and losers. And I feel like I said, with what we were able to accomplish this past month, it's absolute cake. It really is. And given who we weren't able to call in, given who was hurt, I'm like, we're working with house money right now, because we really have a lot to look forward to in these next couple of years.
Yeah, Eboni, I feel like now's the time that we should air our grievances and call some people out, or at least some general ideas of people out on things that they said about our team.
Where do you want me to start?
Let's start in England.
England. For all of you English people who wanted to call out our forwards, I want to know, how many did yours score in this tournament? Please tell me, what did Liam Williamson do for you at the 2024 Paris Olympics? Just want to know. Just want to know. Let me
How
know.
Chloe Kelly played this summer?
Oh man, she let no goals in. You know what? She had a fantastic summer.
Oh,
Sweden. Where was Bompastor for that header in the group stage? Just let me know. Let me know. Just point them out. Just tell me, how many goals and how many assists did she have this summer? How many croissants did she eat after each game?
Well, that's fair. We don't know if they ate croissants, this summer. Maybe they could have.
If they didn't, Robert Griffin III did it for her.
This is true. Alana Mayer ate plenty. We're good. I think this is just, it's vindicating that we watched this team after being told they weren't good enough anymore. The world has caught up. And look, let's not hide the fact that the world has obviously improved and caught up to the fact that that is not a guarantee. It is no longer the U.S. versus the field, right? And that is a net positive. Like no one on our side of the pond is going, oh no, we want to keep them down. We want it. But the thing is, you better recognize the reason you're able to do that, whether you want to admit it or not, is because the U.S. women's national team demanded that women's soccer be taken seriously after that 2019 tournament with the equal pay lawsuits and arguments that set up equal pay structures for other national teams, to watch the investment of an entire league, not just one or two teams in a country, an entire league. You're welcome.
Actually, I have a thought there. I think that had it not been for winning the fight for equal pay, I think that I honestly question if we would have went out and got Emma Hayes, because I feel like before then you kind of just got what you got, and I feel like with the new status with the women's national team, at least internally. It was like, hey, we need somebody that's going to match basically what you're paying us. It's like, hey, like if you're going to pay us right, you need to go get a coach that's matching that energy. And I feel as though with that, that's what makes you have to go get a top coach.
Mhm.
That's what makes you, basically do better. And I think that as I think what we might cover, I think with the men, they realize that, hey, we can't just be, scraping for whatever we can get. We got to actually, try to do right as well. And it looks like we're heading that direction on the men's side as well. I mean, it's a good time. It's definitely a good time.
Well, it is a good time. I mean, let's talk about again what this tournament looked like on paper, and the fact that you had a 3-0 win against Zambia, a Zambia team that, by the way, I don't know how their coach is still employed, but you see lots of potential there. But you shut them out.
I think the African nations are on the rise, and we just don't. Not a lot of people are giving them the credit they deserve.
A lot of their federations aren't giving them the support they deserve.
Yeah,
and
we should have had AFCON this year.
That would have been fun. That would have been fun.
But we put up we beat Zambia. We blanked them, right?
Yeah,
Barbara Banda didn't have a bad game by any stretch. We held her scoreless.
It was just her for that game.
It was her, right? Because we said, Barbara, you try to beat us. We have Naomi Girma. Which, to be fair, no one else has Naomi Girma. We go up and we.
If they had more, that would have been a more difficult game. But it's Banda and friends.
Well, Australia certainly couldn't keep her off the score sheet.
Oh no!
Yeah.
We go out. We beat Germany 4-1. We beat Australia 2-1. But like that, look, we dominated that game until Australia was like, "Crap, we're about to go home." Then you go into the knockouts. Japan 1-0, Germany again 1-0, and Brazil 1-0. Again, this was very much a defense.
That Japan game.
That was a tough game.
That was a tough game.
A team that consistently executes a game plan incredibly well. Changed it up a little bit, but I was in the stands watching Japan beat Spain 4-0 last summer. We know they can do it. And that team was laser focused from the start of the tournament to the end, and especially in those knockout round games, laser focused.
Yeah. I think that had we lost to Japan, I do believe that I would have had a strong bet that Japan would have won gold. But like that was definitely like one where we had to really just pull that one out. And
somehow people are still sleeping on Japan as well. And I'm shocked. I'm like, did you see they are one piece away from winning a gold medal in 2012, a World Cup in 2023, a gold medal in the Olympics. Like, because they could have, if they beat us, they are absolutely going to win the win the Olympics. And they were one piece away in 2019. And that one piece keeps tearing her ACL. And
they're also a goalkeeper away if we want to get real critical, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. They're a great team.
Yeah. A super solid team. I'm scared of Japan every time they step on the field because they go into the next tournament or the next group of friendlies and you're like, oh, they have a squad. They are just missing something. And everyone's like, oh, did they just beat like Germany 3-0? Did they just rout England 6-0? What is happening? And then they get into a tournament, and then it's like, oh, what happened 2 months ago when you were doing all that scoring and shutting people out? And this was not our tournament to win. That's what
But you know
everyone
what?
said.
We won it.
We won it. And we had to. I think I missed it. Were we talking about MVPs?
No,
We
no,
haven't got to the MVP part yet.
Okay.
That is the next question. I promise.
Okay. Also, we're still doing Hoes Mad. Oh, perfect.
We're always
this
doing Hoes
entire
Mad.
podcast is a Hose Mad podcast. Let's be real.
Perfect.
Because it look again. I just feel vindicated.
Norway go make some beats. Norway go make some beats. I'm about to go. We just gonna start going Kendrick on everybody.
Where was Norway? The once mighty Norway. Y'all talking about how we've fallen off. Where's Norway been?
I mean, it's been a minute.
Hey, Germany, for some reason, a good tournament for them now is just a bronze medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spain.
What?
I
No medal.
I loved every minute of your downfall.
I'll say this
glorious.
For Spain. Great team. They were not prepared because these players week in and week out don't play like this. They were not prepared to be the team that everyone was trying to be. Like the U.S. women have been. The U.S. has been that team since 1996, you know?
Which is hilarious because Spain won the World Cup. How are we still a target on our back?
They weren't prepared. Well, because we're the U.S., but they weren't prepared.
I have thoughts on that. I feel like, because kind of like with the men, I've always said that, like, no matter what happens with Brazil, when you play Brazil, like, you want to step up your game, you want to try to impress and hopefully beat them. I feel like with the women, clearly that standard is with the U.S. So no matter where we are, that team's gonna be trying to do their best to beat us. Yes. And I feel as though with Spain, you had this moment last year where you won the World Cup. Granted, you didn't have to play us, but like, it's like once you reach that point, now it's like, okay, what are the expectations now that you have made it to the top and you've won a World Cup? Do you know how to handle those expectations? I feel as though they were probably good until they just got hit in the mouth by Brazil. Like, they had that own goal, pretty early on in the game, and it's like they were never able to recover. And I'm pretty sure if I had to bet money, they went to that bronze medal game saying, like, well, we didn't win. We're not going to win gold, so it's whatever. And I feel like you have to understand, like, when you're on top, there are expectations. And I feel like U.S., they understand those expectations. That's why they're able to stay on top as consistently as we have. And I feel as though with Spain, especially with the general summer that Spain had this summer, and also obviously going back to last summer as well, like, this was a big letdown for them. And I feel like they're probably going to go back home and really reassess like that too.
Yes.
But like realize, like, how serious are we really going to be? Because I feel like there's an opportunity here where it's like, hey, we had the best European club in the world next to Lyon. But I'm like, you actually have an opportunity to basically be the standard bearer, at least in Europe, if not in the world. So it's like, you really want to make up your mind. It's like, are we going to be serious? Or is this going to be a one-time thing that we don't repeat again until whenever Spain hosts the Women's World Cup? So it's yours.
I think this about Spain, and I thought this about Barcelona for the longest time. They are a collection of very talented people. They have great teams. The thing that keeps them for me, of being a truly elite team, their league is terrible. And I'm sorry, it's trash. Outside of Barcelona and maybe Atletico, maybe even Real
it's
Madrid,
just the top three.
It's not even, but it's
we still have not reached really a point where I feel as though Real Madrid are treating their women's team like they do their men's teams. I feel like if they were, they would be chasing down every black woman on the U.S. women's team today, and it still hasn't happened yet. So that's how you know, like, they're not taking this seriously.
Said she wanted to be a homebody, so she could have made.
I mean, like you can't tell me that. Like I said, if they were matching that energy, Naomi Girma would be the highest paid defender in the world right now. She'd be playing it in the Bernabeu right now.
Oh, I agree. I would
Yeah.
love to see. I just want her away from San Diego. I still got one more thing to hate on. Canada. I hope you watched. I hope you
Yes.
watched us win the gold from
With-
above the stadium.
Yeah, with your drone.
Maybe hovering. Keep the
And
drone levels low.
bzzz.
That is
Can we
now
talk
your
about the
news
fact
sound.
that I'm blanking on her name, but the New Zealand fighter was like, "Oh, that sounds like a drone. That sounds like a
She knew the-
specific type
yeah.
of drone."
Yeah, she knew the exact model. It was like,
drone
Y'all
oh,
aren't even
enthusiast.
slick with it.
It's the fact that she's a drone enthusiast and she was able to
like a Mavic
identify
900, I think.
the DJI Mavic from that far.
Oh
That
man,
was hilarious. But like,
Yeah.
like I mean, like that's the thing. It's like there's a lot of programs out here that shit. Even looking at Canada, it's like you. Granted, you had this whole meltdown before the tournament started with these drones, but like you're going back from there were people up top saying that hey, Canada was gonna medal.
They did not
and-
make it
and-
far in the last World Cup. Where were they
Yeah.
in the knockout rounds? I mean,
yeah. And like, I mean, granted that they were able to at least make it to the knockout rounds, but yeah, like they
didn't
fell
go-
flat pretty quickly. It's like,
they went as far as we did.
yeah. And I think that
But for them,
There's
that's
Canada.
their ceiling. That's our floor.
there's Canada, there's Germany, there's France. I just I just need them to get together. That's I really want to see them do better, but they just seem they're just star-crossed or something because you're at
Lemon
home.
booty in every tournament is outrageous.
Because like it used to be where like if France had a tournament at home, you knew they were winning. I feel as though like the last decade they just were like, hey, whether it was Euro 2016, the Women's World Cup in 2019, and you just had an Olympic tournament where you had both your men choked in a gold medal game, and your women didn't even medal. They've been the standard for a hot minute, and now it's all of a sudden it's like it just might happen. You let that chiseled chin fail. Come on now.
There are a lot of teams that everyone wants to tell me they're so much better than us. They've got better leagues, all these things. And at the end of the day, I will still say NWSL is the most competitive league in the world. I don't know how you could even come to a conclusion different than that. I think the English league is steadily improving, and I think it is. If the clubs start taking it actually seriously, it will be good.
Yep.
But no other league has the amount of competition and talent from team to team that our NWSL does. We're going to get better.
Is a crime.
Well, in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is some actual crimes, to be quite honest. But like, we're even going to get better. This is the thing, Ebony. Like, NWSL is getting better and better.
Yep.
We're adding a first division, another first division. Well,
Allegedly.
1 point.
Well,
yeah,
another one, and then impossible. It's like spades. Another one.
1B. And we're adding. We're. It seems like there's rumors, or at least plans with the WPSL to add. I guess it's either third or second division, whichever way you want to actually look at the. We are solidifying plans to have a more robust professional women's soccer landscape.
Yeah.
We have had insane amounts of investment into this league and these clubs since just 2019, and even more so since 2023. Michelle King, shout out. Players from Europe on top European league teams are opting to come to our league now again. And I don't understand how anything other than this team and women's soccer in this country are going to be the driving force, the influencer for the rest of the world for the foreseeable future. I'm not saying forever, but like it's still there, and we're getting better as we actually try to get a little serious about how we treat the sport professionally. A little bit.
I mean, I think that at least U.S. Soccer, NWSL, USL, WPSL, like I feel like if nothing else, they are at least seeing that the way to keep the women's program ahead of everybody else is obviously to invest into the professional game. I mean, and clearly with as robust as the college system is for women's soccer,
Mhm.
like you're not going to run short on players whatsoever. So it's really now it's like, okay, like you developed all these players all over the place. Why not give them the place to continue to apply that trade, and and guess you could pay some half decent money. And I think that if I feel like it's still I don't want to say half-assed, but it's still like it's very disjointed effort over in Europe and obviously and definitely in South America as well. And until they get their collective shit together, I feel like England's definitely on the way forward over there, but Spain still has issues. I'm not sure what's happening with Germany. I really that's a mystery that
Wolfsburg's imploding somehow, which I'm sure Bayern is happy for. They won't have to actually spend money to compete as they had been. But yeah, that's
and
Even
frustrating.
Canada, because Canada is
Canada?
supposed to be starting a league, and
No news on that.
I haven't heard anything since because the announcement was like last year, right? Or was it earlier
Yeah.
this year?
Or
It was
time is a
last.
flat circle.
Yeah.
And
We were supposed to be hearing something.
I feel it's
that way.
like at least I feel like that's necessary for them because I feel like we as far as soccer here goes, we need to get out of the business. We need to let Canada soccer be Canada soccer and stop having them latch on to the American leagues because I feel like that does little for the Canadian player. I feel like they need to have a foundation for them where they can stay at home and do their thing there. Like if there's some elite players that want to play over here, cool. But I feel like they should be treated just like
Look, Austria and Germany are different.
Yeah, I feel as though
Poland and Germany are different.
they need their own spot.
Yeah,
and be able to create that foundation and floor, so that way you can have even more great Canadian players. So hopefully they can figure out that kind of stuff, and hopefully they'll get some 2026 money. Be like, hey, we can fill this league now. So we'll see.
All right, we're gonna end the Hose Mad segment to talk about our MVPs of the tournament because we're gonna talk about us now. Eboni, who was that standout player for you this tournament?
My easy answer is Trinity. My other easy answer is Girma.
Which one do you think was the most, not surprising, but took the biggest step forward?
Trinity.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there was a lot riding on the forwards in terms of scoring because of who wasn't there. Caitlin Clark wasn't there. So it was,
I was thinking that.
Well, we got bronze at women's 3v3 basketball, by the way. We didn't include her on the roster.
Could have been gold. When you omit a name like Alex Morgan, who's a very, to be fair, Alex Morgan has been big name. Yeah, that's
big name.
That's where we'll go with that. Big name. Who everyone had already penciled in. Reese's penciled her. I already wrote her name in pen.
Signed a check in pen.
All right, and she ate those Reese's from the comfort of her couch. It's
what's still cheering on the team, by the way. Need to point that out because some women who have been cut decided to just go on hater campaigns.
Yes, that is true. She played her part well of being the person to be like, I'm gonna still support and I hope they bring home gold.
Is it because she might be a good teammate?
Yes, I think people underestimate her and Shaw's relationship. She took Shaw under her wing at San Diego. And I will always appreciate her for that because Shaw was young, still young, but she had a very good forward on her side who knew how to work in media and who knew how to be in the spotlight and who knew how to help block out all the other things happening around. So she got a good mentor out of Alex Morgan. Like Morgan did her thing there. And Shaw credits her for that too. So, but at the same time, when you leave Alex Morgan off of a roster where everyone already had her on it, they're going to be like, well, where are you scoring goals from?
Mm-hmm.
They looked immediately to that front line and it was like, y'all have some work to do. And Trinity said, bet. Like, she was already having a really good season in Washington. She had a really good partnership with Croy. They had finally been allowing those three to cook together. Her, Trinity, Sophia, and Mal. And this tournament allowed Trinity to play like Trinity. Like she is a fierce competitor. She has her mama in her. Like that whole family is they are competitors and they have that dog. Like she takes some of her brother's same mentalities and uses them to the best of her ability because the way her footwork, everything. She's been practicing that spin on defenders for years.
I mean, and it's cooking every time.
I watched her drop my same defender twice in a game with that spin. I was like, please stop. I get it. Okay. She had her breakout tournament for the Olympics. And Emma said that she's just going to let them continue to do what they do. That means that she's only going to get better. So this was the tournament to prove everyone wrong. And she did it. And she did a really good job of it. And her Japan goal was the culmination of all of those extra comments and things adding up. And she was like, I can show you what I can do. And then at the end of the Brazil game, when she was by herself in the corner and the ref blew that whistle and she just literally fell to her knees and cried, I was like, you did it, boo. You did it. And it would be a disservice to the game to not mention how much more scrutiny that front line would have gotten if they didn't win, especially because it was a very black front line. And the fact that they were able to overcome all the hate, including Lynn. Lynn also had a decent tournament. It wasn't her best, but I need her to be her best. I needed her to be that cleanup. I needed her to come in when those 15, 20 minutes and just be a menace.
Really the only sub that I think Emma truly trusted.
True, which is I wouldn't say hilarious, but like, you picked this team. Why did you not trust your subs more? But that's another argument. That is another.
We won gold.
Day.
We'll talk. We won gold. We're not.
Emma will come back after your week of gloating. Okay.
Yes.
But I see you. Remember, I see you. See me. See you. And we'll talk about it later. But
talk about it in October.
I want to see 11 billion names on that roster. But anyway,
we need a 40-player training camp roster.
40? That's low. 60. Fuck it. Rent out the whole Marriott.
That kind of money. They're about to have to hire Mauricio Pochettino. They ain't got that kind of money anymore.
But yeah, Trinity, and honestly, that whole front line, but Trinity really spearheaded it. And even as a very young player, she still took Mal and Sophia under her and was like, yeah, let's do this. Along with Nair. That partnership has been really fun to see. But,
yeah, it's very uncle niece, where like the niece is making the uncle very fun and hip and cool. Like literally. Greg, your MVP of this tournament. The standout.
Naomi Girma in ink, in stone, in absolute highlighted marker, everything that you can think of. I mean, like it. I feel like she established herself as the best defender in the world, and I think that Emma said just as much. I feel like without her, we don't. I'm not even sure we make it to the bronze medal game, but with her, she was that important, and I feel as though statue should already be built in her name. Like she was just that incredible to go shutting out, great attacks, playing every minute. I'm like, she was an absolute Iron Woman, and I cannot. I don't know where we would be right now without her. Like, she is just that incredible, and yeah, I give her flowers. I would give my firstborn son to her, and I would just make sure that we keep her protected at all times.
Well, and to add to that, I think the biggest thing, and we knew this, but like the biggest thing that we saw for the world to see is she's the next captain.
Yes, 1000%. I'll tattoo it on my arm. What do you need?
Captain
Need it
Girma.
in blood? I can
Yeah,
pray
she,
it.
yeah, she should.
Put
Yeah,
that
she, yes,
emoji up.
she should be captain. She absolutely should be captain.
Yeah, I think it's very clear, and I think that type of leadership for someone who's so young, because she still is young, especially for a center back,
Yeah.
speaks volumes to her as a player and how she's able to command things from the back line. All right, so we've got Trinity, we've got Naomi. Before I tell my MVP, I just want to give a quick shout out to Miss Mal Swanson, because I kept saying that the real problem from 2023, aside from like the actual problem, was we didn't have Mal Swanson, and you don't we remember, but a lot of people don't want to remember that Mal was on a tear for club and country to start off 2023, and I think that injury really really altered how Vlatko was going to build his team. And of course he didn't adjust well because he's Vlatko and made terrible decisions his entire time as manager. But I think she proved this tournament that A, she's very good, and B, she is so important to this team being successful because she just takes so much attention. Like, you can't just let her be. You have to focus on her at all times and know where she is, because she will find the ball and put it in the back of the net. But my MVP, and I agree with you, Ebony, it's Trinity Rodman. And it's not just for the goals, but I think she represents what a U.S. women's national team player is going to look like henceforth. Because historically, and this isn't a bad thing, but historically, most U.S. women's national team players were tough, gritty, fit, physical, fast, quick, all the athletic names, right? Or Abby Wambach, big, tall, strong, those types of players. And that was very good. However, she is still those things. She's quick, she's gritty, she's fit, she is tenacious, right? Those are great adjectives for Trinity Rodman. But she's also technical, skillful, unafraid to take a player on, and she plays with a flair that we haven't seen from a lot of U.S. women's national team players in the past. Maybe you get one or two on a roster, right? But I think she embodies what I am seeing from all of the younger attackers, is that, I'm still fast. I'm still not. You're not gonna bump me off the ball easy, right? But also, let me do the little, 360 nutmeg on you every damn time on the sideline and get past you. Or let me try the back heel. And you know what? It might not work, but that one time it does, you're cooked. And I think that, to me, signifies what this program is going to be going forward, is we are figuring out how to put all the athletic might that we have with great technical ability. And if we can get more players like Trinity, which we do, we have Soph, we have we got Croy, we got Jaden, we got Kat coming back, we got plenty of that. And to me, that's just she epitomizes what this team can look like and maybe will look like going forward.
Oh yeah, I think that we're about to enter a period where, like, just the amount of talent that we have available as far as the national team goes, like, even when you it's a line that Omar said, like, even if from this distance, from this range, even if I miss, I can't miss. and I feel like there's so much talent that's on the loose. It's like it's gonna be difficult to break in, but at the same time, there's not gonna be any fall off if someone drops off. You know, if Mal gets hurt, you got Jaden. If Trent gets hurt, shit, you still technically have Midge. Like that's and you got Fish, and there's so much talent available now that it's going to be real hard to fuck with that attack going forward. Like I don't think that unless someone goes out here and tries to clone Naomi, there's not too many teams that are going to see that attack.
By the way, we should.
Very true.
We definitely, and I think
we should look into that.
To piggyback off of what you said, Bart, Sills, she said this one day and it really resonated with me. Shout out to Shea Butter, but she said we only had one player hot at one time. So if it was Mal was hot, you didn't really have any other forwards that were hot. If Sophia was hot, nobody else was really hot at that moment. Right now, you have everybody scoring goals. It's not all just going through Mal like it was in 2023. And
Mal with 4, Soph with 3, Trent with 3.
That's a spread out attack. Even going into the Olympics, you had Jaden scoring. You had Croy hit her first. No, Croy got her first cap, but Lily came on and scored. Like players were didn't Midge score as well in the Gold Cup? Like everyone was getting a chance to truly score a goal. It wasn't just a one-way street. Right. Like
well, and to your point, Fish and Jaden in October of last year. Remember when they came on after that? I mean, that yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that I feel like the more players you have in form, there's going to be more players that they just don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
So Lynn is going to look different than Trent. Trent's going to look different than Soph. Soph's going to look different than Mal. Mal's going to look different than Jaden. You can go down the line, and everyone's going to be like, well, she's fast, but her off the speed ball is like off the ball speed is really good. But when she's got the ball at her feet, she's very technical. And she can look for that extra pass because we've seen her do it at this tournament, but also this player. There's so many different ways that we can score on you now that teams are going to be sick of us. And I need Connor to make me a new Hose Mad video every week.
I mean, I think the thing that I think is honestly really scary about this is that we are about to have an attack that's going to be so deep that even for the things that we've been screaming for the longest time, like Crystal Dunn finally being an attack, I'm not sure there's a spot.
Well, we'll just keep listing her as an attacker. I think.
I mean, whatever you call her, you better be an attacker. But I'm like, given who's there, if everyone's healthy, I don't know.
Yeah,
and like that's how scary this team can be.
And for me, there's the promise that with Emma moving here, having the second half of the NWSL season, plus,
we're going to get her on
now to actually scout,
We're going to bring her to American Deli and get her.
I'm not joking when I say she needs to be hitting that golden spike in Atlanta soon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Her. I'm trying to imagine Pochettino doing that. And I'm like, that's gonna be the funniest thing ever.
He's not gonna understand what's going on. But actually, it's got to be Emma hitting that golden spike soon.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to
that. Once doesn't the doesn't it open up soon?
They are building.
Yeah.
I don't know how soon, but I know people are like I have a friend who works for US Soccer who has moved here. They're all teleworking, they're remote workers now. But yeah, they are consolidating into Atlanta. So, and they've had all their training camps technically at Atlanta United's training grounds, but a lot of them have been here recently. So yeah, you're right. They're coming, you know.
I say I just retweeted a thing for like in 6 months, Pochettino going to have some promos. He can be smoking that Swisher. You know, like I said, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, depending on what side of town that Emma's on, you know, she gonna have the velour suits. She gonna be pepped out as well. So like I said,
If she moves down to Fayetteville, where the training center is, I think I think she'll be in Peachtree City. Let's be real honest.
I was like, why would you do that to her?
Well, she's got a kid. He'll probably, you know, let's be honest. She probably wants to put him in a nice private school down there. I get it. But this is what I'm getting at. Do you think she gets her own golf cart?
Oh yeah.
Is that part of the contract? You get your own golf cart.
If it's not, I'm pretty sure there will be a local dealer that'll be like, hey, we wanted to show you love for the work that you've already done for the USA, and just hey, here you go. Here.
I would love it. All right, we have talked a lot about the U.S. winning gold for the 5th time. I think we just need to say that again for the 5th time.
Found it.
There's a Twitter account who, you know, look, this is a hose mad episode, so we're just going to talk about it. But they try to say that winning a women's World Cup is better than the Olympics, and I'm not going to say that they are inherently wrong, but
that's what you say when you ain't won both.
That's what you say when you ain't won both, and we've won both, and we'll be the ones to comment on that. And based on the videos that we saw coming out, it clearly feels darn good to win a gold medal. Let's just say it.
Now, I will say that if I had to choose, I would.
100%.
I would probably still choose the World Cup, but at the same time, I mean, like once you have it, it's like it's just so beautiful. It's like why would I reject this when it's just right here waiting for me? So, we
were in a drought.
It didn't hit me that we hadn't won since 2012. I was like, I guess because we've won just so often, it's just it doesn't quite hit you like that.
But you know who isn't in a drought because they never won one? They're just in a desert.
Great Britain. Just saying.
Spain still ain't got a medal.
Yeah.
And he still ain't got one. All right, let's wrap this up because we've talked a long time about this, as we probably could talk more about U.S. women's soccer right now. Eboni, thanks for being here tonight. Tell us where we can find you and all the things you do in the world of soccer, because you do a lot.
Damn, that's a you can follow me on Twitter, EbonyC25. Don't be sensitive in my mentions. I will block you and roast you, depending on the order. I don't know yet. I don't know. I've got a couple teams. I do a podcast with for NCFC and NC Courage here in Raleigh called 6 Point Weekend. Obviously, with the culture, for the culture. Love those guys down. So I'm always there. Doing a lot of work with Shea Butter. Shout out to Sky and Sales.
I bet they've been celebrating just as hard too, by the way.
Oh God, they are ready.
Because they have been carrying that flag of like, no, I promise you, we're so good.
Put the players up front, let them go do their thing, and watch them prosper. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I do way too much. I should probably take a break. Gonna be covering the Super League here soon, so gonna have that coming out.
You're gonna have
look out for that.
Women's pro teams, first division pro teams in your state.
Yeah, and it's really cool.
I mean, that's legitimately awesome.
I can't wait to own more jerseys. They sold out of my jersey in 2 hours. The Accent did.
I was about to say those jerseys are amazing.
Yeah. So yeah.
Better than whatever Tampa put out for Fort Lauderdale.
That was not.
That was not it.
I still haven't seen DC's yet, and I have like 2 jerseys I need to buy. I need to buy a jersey for DC, and I need to buy a jersey for the Carolina Accent. And let me give you money.
Don't you want my money? Don't you want it?
Well, speaking of great jerseys, Gregor's got one on right now, a custom job over there. But tell us where we can find you, because again, you do a lot of stuff in the world of soccer, and people need to know.
Yeah. So things have kind of changed a little bit because thanks to the good people at Meta, our Instagram page got jacked and I can't recover it. So thanks a lot, Facebook. So in the meantime, you can reach us on Instagram at FTCUTD pod. You can reach us still on Twitter at FTCUTD. You can reach me if you really care to, but I'm like, the smoke is over with the culture. So just hit me up on there. Like, and of course, you can get all this nice jersey sauce at ftcutd.com/shop. I said, we want to make your jersey dreams come true.
All right. Well, Greg, Ebony, thanks for joining us again. Go follow them on Twitter and Instagram, as Greg pointed out. You can follow the show on Soccer for Us Pod on Twitter. Also, make sure you're subscribed to Soccer Down Here to get all of the content that comes out from there. They are expanding constantly their reach here in the South, covering this wonderful sport that we love. Y'all, U.S. Women's National Team, a 5th gold medal. It feels great. Thank you all for listening. I'm Bart. I'm out.